Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians cast, episode 721. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212. I'm with Chris L. What's up, Chris?
None of us know if we're Zygon or human on this cast.
Yeah. What's up, Con?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. What's up, Mike D?
Happy Halloween! I wore black! I got black on!
And you're wearing a white shirt, Dingy!
Yeah, I know. What else is new, right? I'm wearing black. Like
You
I
should
always
at
do
least
on every job.
computer-generated your shirt black, though. I mean, that, you know.
No, that shirt's really black on my avatar. I just made it look white.
Yeah.
I always wear black.
I know.
There's actually two Mike D's. One of them is a Zygon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you gotta
he
guess.
looks like, it makes sense because he looks like a Zygon, so it's...
All right, so...
I look like a big diseased genital formation, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Hey, you know, whatever. All right, what did you think of it, the episode?
Michael?
Yes.
Well, that was a generalized question. I didn't know that was directed towards me specifically. I thought it was entertaining. I talked to somebody that gave me some bad information earlier today that Clara was going to die this episode, so I thought that was kind of sucky.
I do apologize at home from many miles away for saying F you like 50 times and almost breaking my phone and throwing things because I was like, son of a bitch, why did he do this to me? I was flipping out, and then I'm like, all right. We're watching that. Yeah.
I should have just pulled it off and just said, hey, I was joking. I knew she didn't really
Oh,
know.
shit, I was so pissed off. I was beyond pissed. And then I was watching Halloween, because it's Halloween. And, yeah. But,
I was handing out treats to the Wogs tonight that were going trick-or-treating, knocking on the doors and stuff.
Oh, we did too.
Oh, well.
We were sitting outside with the candy bowls, and we did that for like 2 hours, and then we just chilling in here watching like horror movies and stuff. So
yeah.
I gotta say I really enjoyed this Halloween. It was really good. But the Zygon episode to me was not good. I did not like. I was like saying to myself, okay. Is he going to use this to explain how Clara dies in the last episode and replace her with a Zygon or something? And then I'm saying to myself, well, this can't be Clara because she's not answering her phone. And right off the bat, this episode just seems so messed up in so many places. I didn't understand how Kate Stewart, mother of two, goes as leader of unit into New Mexico with a gun that only has 6 bullets to fight an invasion or investigate without anybody from unit with her. That, to me, regardless of them being a shortage of troops, did not make any sense whatsoever. Especially, like, the interaction with Clara and Jax. Like, when would Clara have the authority to be a member of unit more than anybody else in that thing, that they're going to listen to her, of all people? I mean, I don't like that that's going on, too, because these people are in the military for how many years, and this freaking person that's a civilian just comes in, it's like calling the shots. I don't like that either. So, another thing is the fact that every member of unit that had a title was a woman. And I'm saying to myself, well, is this Moffat's answer to when people are criticizing him for not making women important enough that now he just goes overboard and makes women in every friggin' rank of the military leadership and unit? Because it's getting ridiculous now. So I had a lot of problems with the episode. I could go on and on, but I want Connor's opinion and Mike D's opinion. So Connor, what do you think? Or whoever, doesn't matter.
I was just going to say right off the top that at least they made the Zygons threatening again.
They looked cooler than they did. The electricity thing is cool, and the way they talked is cool. It is cool, like having all those pod things and everything, but
yeah, they look like rotten cucumbers or something.
Yeah,
like diseased cucumbers.
But again, I had a serious problem with this episode on so many levels, really bad. Like to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like if you worship somebody, you would trust that person if you worship them. So if you love the Doctor so much, you would tell him, hey, I'm human, I'm a hybrid, I'm whatever. This is what the plan is, whatever. And I didn't feel I got that. So, and the Clara thing was just ridiculous. It's like, oh, she's evil now because she did a little smirk with her eye. It's like that's supposed to mean you're evil or something. And it's like, you know, they're all in pods, and then she's like, they're all dead, and you know, that was just absurd. I understand that they had to spend more time in New Mexico because they filmed. Was it New Mexico, Connor? Where did they film it? Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it was in.
They did, right. They filmed it in the opener, and they still had to film there too. But it just the story.
Well, it's set in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico.
Right, but to me, the whole plot is crap. I felt. I think we're gonna have an even worse letdown in episode 2 or part 2 of it. But I don't know. Yeah, I have a feeling.
How many more are there until the end of the season?
Well, we're running out now. I mean, this is we got was it the Rigsby episode? Am I saying it right, Connor? Rizzy?
We've got the found footage, then we've got the Rigsy, and then we've got the finale. So 4 more episodes.
We got the Sleep No More. We got the Face the Raven. Well, now the Zygon Incursion, and then you're gonna have Hell Bent and Heaven Sent or something.
Yeah. So
right.
4 after next week.
Right. 4. I mean, are you guys I mean, I really want to know, Con. I mean, are you feeling fulfilled with the season? Like, you can honestly say, "Hey, I'm freaking satisfied. I love this."
Yeah, I've not hated an episode so far. You know, I've loved it. I've loved all of them actually. It's not a matter of just enjoying the episodes. It's a matter of actually loving the episode so far. And I really, I mean, you know, deep Under the Lake Before the Flood 2-part was really good. Obviously, the opener was very good. You know, the Maisie Williams episode was surprisingly good. You know, and it's continued this week. It's it's really not been a bad season. I don't know why people are saying it is. A few people say it is.
Well, I gotta be honest with you. I'm not being controversial here, but I have found myself probably like the last several Saturdays, like completely forgetting that Doctor Who was going to be on until somebody reminded me. Because I've liked the episodes, but I guess based on my interest, there's something that's just been waning with my interest. I don't know what it is.
Well, you're not the only one, but what was it, last week? I was like, oh my god, Doctor Who's on, and it's like the middle of like Saturday. And I'm like, because we want to go see Misery, and I'm like, oh my god, I made a video, and I'm like, oh yeah, Doctor Who's on tonight. So it's like, but my kids have like totally just skipped it lately, and they watch it like Sunday. I'm like, oh my god, and I asked Joe, and he's like, Dad, he's like, this season, man. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I'm not saying it's bad, but there's nothing that's like linking it together where it's like strong enough to like, he's like, and he brought up some things with Matt Smith. He's like, you know, Dad, when they had Impossible Astronaut, you know, he died in the first 5 minutes, then they had this silence, and they had the whole thing going on, who's Melody, you know, the baby being born, and who's Melody Pond, and then River regenerate. It's like you had something that was like that constantly, what's going to happen. And he says other things too, like the cracks in season 1, and this and this. He's like, but I don't get that. He says, it's like, you know, we got like the greatest opener. They love the opener, the, you know, Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar. And again, they just didn't like. I'm not saying they hated the episodes, but they didn't feel that it was, you know, memorable, I guess is the word. Not that they said it was bad. I mean, I believe that they liked it. Joe and Anthony liked, you know, before the. Under the Lake Before the Flood better than I did, but they just didn't, you know, to them it's like, I'm going to do this, and then I'll see Doctor Who tomorrow. It's not like, oh my god, tonight this is going to happen, I got to watch it, you know? So, we got TV in the background, guys. Somebody's got TV in the background? Okay. Yeah, so I don't know if you agree with that, Mike D, but I'm getting the same impression. It's like, all right. I mean, I watch it, but it's like I'm not like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what happens tonight because I'm not a fan of this. I mean, the Zygon thing I thought was going to be better going into it than it actually was. I was excited to see Osgood and everything, but I don't like the explanations lately of anything. So I don't like the educational thing that they have to explain to us stuff in the beginning of the episode, and in this case with the Osgood explanation, I don't like that at all. And I don't like the explanation about why he chose his face, and all these explanations to me are like crap so far, in my opinion only. Not that it actually is. So, I mean, what do you think, Mike?
I mean, have we just been hyping it up too much in our minds with things, and then like it just never pays off?
Well, no, because the opener exceeded my expectations, and I put it on a high level. I mean, it's fantastic. I loved it, but I don't know if it's that we make it. I don't really think it could be that we blow it out of. I mean, if you compare seasons, it's like, where in this season is the Girl in the Fireplace, or where is the Parting of the Ways, or where is the Utopia Sounds of Drums, Last of the Time Lords? We're not getting that like this season. I mean, we got a nice opener, but and that's what I was having a conversation with my son Joe, and he's like, Dad, the biggest problem is that the opening 2 episodes were so amazing that everything else that comes after it, you're not going to see it as that. You're going to expect the bar to be this high because they made the bar that high for the first 2 episodes. So everything else is going to be a letdown. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, but then again, here we don't have Moffat writing this at all. And to me, it's like the Doctor really. I'm not saying maybe I'm not saying you don't know how to write for Capaldi or others, but Clara didn't have much to do, especially the Zygon Clara, and the Doctor really didn't have much to say. I mean, it seemed to me like it was a, hey, let's see what's going on with Kate type of thing, and little stuff in the background. But like, I kind of judge the Doctor's behavior in this too. Like, why is the Doctor standing there watching as the family members are coming out? Why isn't he getting in on that and trying to step in, or since when does the Doctor sit on the sidelines when unit commands? He's always in there. John Pertwee, I'm going right in there. Brigadier's like, Doctor, he's going right in there. I'm the Doctor. That's it. Since when is he just chilling back there?
I was waiting for that unit guy when the family was coming out, for someone to yell to him, quick, chap over there, 5 rounds rapid, like they do in the Damons. Kind of like a little callback to that episode when they were shooting Bach in that episode.
I expected.
Should have blown it away. Some people will get that joke, others won't, so that's all right.
Yeah, I expected them to switch partners. Like the guy who was interacting with his mother, they grab him out of there. Another unit member that's not connected to that family just shoots him down or something. Because it just seemed to me like they're all like a bunch of puppies. They're supposed to be trained and everything, and they're like. And they go in there like a bunch of idiots. That's like, why is this happening? I'm trying to question. Is it because Brigadier was a trained soldier and he trains them, and Kate's not a soldier? She's a scientist? Are they becoming weaker military-wise? Like muscle, like
I attribute that to bad writing because, like, I'm sorry, but you're not convincing me that these are trained military men, and they're all walking in there just kind of like, oh, well, it's probably not a trap. Oh, wait, it's a trap. And then
that is beyond bad writing.
You send a few of them in there, and then if they come out and they're like, yeah, it's okay, there you go. But why did everybody go in there? Like
they're trained for years.
I don't know. Maybe it's
to
just
become unit. They're trained for years. And it's like, they just a bunch of idiots going in there. So how the hell do they last the 23rd century or whatever, 22nd century if there's nobody left now? I mean, Torchwood lasted in the future. There was the Torchwood archives in the friggin' Satan Pit, Impossible Planet. That was a division of Torchwood. That far in the future. Okay? And Unit, they're getting their butts handed to them. Like, and they're
A
all
lot recently.
a lot, and all women, like women science officer, women commander, women chief commander, women chief commander. It's like then there's a head person in that town's a cop lady. It's like, where are the guys?
Well, there you go. There's your answer. It's the pussification of unit, right?
Yeah, well, now this is the problem I'm having with what you're saying, is you seem to be saying that the reason why UNIT are so weak at the moment is because it's run by women.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that where are the skills that Kate Stewart has as a soldier? She's not a soldier, so maybe why can't we get Marumba? What's her name? The one from Planet of the Dead. She was a trained soldier.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that she'll be able to run UNIT. It's like saying Danny Pinker was a soldier, but he wouldn't be able to run UNIT.
No, but why is UNIT listening to Clara like she's a soldier?
Well, why are they listening to the Doctor?
But that's different, because the Doctor has earned the respect, for working for UNIT as a third Doctor for so many years, for them to listen to. But for Clara, it's just a companion, and she's leading a whole damn army to their deaths in a way. It's like, what the hell is that?
So you're saying this would be like equivalent to like Joe Grant, like giving orders to UNIT.
This would be like Harry Sullivan, Joe Grant, right? Like whatever. I'm just saying, like, it'd just be like these people are just not.
Well, Harry was an officer though. He was a medical officer, but I mean, like,
I'm just saying that it just makes no sense to me how. So now, in other words, here's my problem, right? Kate's the leader, and she's nowhere to be found. She's in New Mexico, right? So why are they listening to Clara? And it turns out Clara's a Zygon, so you just screwed the whole UNIT organization because you trusted a school teacher that has no military background, has no skills in the military, no skill. I mean, you trusting that.
But you're forgetting that Clara's a companion to the Doctor. She's obviously going to have experience fighting aliens. So why would you let that go?
Because the problem is that they make Clara so freaking huge. Unlike other companions where UNIT wouldn't freaking listen to anybody, now all of a sudden Clara absolutely, you're like, Clara is like the Doctor, which is ridiculous. That's my problem. And now all of UNIT is destroyed like that, really?
That was the thing that really, like, in this episode that I didn't like. I was just like,
I mean,
UNIT was taken out that easily, like
that.
This is the force that defends the planet against extraterrestrials, and
thank you.
Now they're gone.
Done.
What happened?
It's called bad writing. Done. One episode with the Zygons, no less. I'm not talking to Cybermen or Daleks. The Zygons take out the whole friggin' unit. Everybody. The Zygons. Which, again, the Zygons are not on my top friggin' villain list, obviously, but that's not. I'm not saying that. Like, I'm just saying like the Zygons. That's like saying Super Centaurans with the Strax clone batch took out UNIT. It's like the same thing. It's like, where is the military training? I mean, they have years of experience with the Doctor about every type of alien race there is. And they already encountered them already, so I don't understand what the problem is. This is the big thing here, okay? This is not little thinking. This is major, major dissecting of the episode here, okay? We're talking about a show that's been on for 52 years now, Connor?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And this organization has been around in Doctor Who for just almost as long, and they get taken out by the Zygons. Completely. The leader, the science officer, everybody and their mother is done. Yet they're in the future somehow, 100 years from now or whatever, right? And they mention all this other stuff. So, again, obviously that guy wouldn't know about it because he didn't write that episode with before the flood. So there's some inconsistencies here. Okay? Like, how about the guy that writes the Zygon episode confer with the guy that wrote, before the flood, where they say, okay, UNIT is around in 100 years.
Well, I mean, UNIT could get reestablished in another episode or something. That's not really a big, I don't think that's a problem with this episode in particular. So I wouldn't say, oh, this episode's bad because UNIT's around in the future, and I think they could get reestablished.
Chris, we're talking about the Cybermen and the Daleks in Doomsday basically taking over the world, and UNIT's still around. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
and I know that.
The two biggest villains in Doctor Who history, the Daleks and the Cybermen invaded, and UNIT's fine. But the friggin' Zygons, and they're done.
Well, I mean, we didn't really see UNIT a lot in that episode. It was really just Torchwood. But
they were still there.
I mean, but this is the thing, though. Like, what I'm trying to say is don't use that UNIT's in the future as a reason to dock this episode, because I don't think that's necessarily fair. But I think if they wanted the Zygons to look really good, have them do something that renders UNIT kind of helpless, but don't completely get rid of UNIT. That's the one thing I didn't understand.
Well, what about the Doctor's dialogue? Like,
I didn't really like the Doctor in this episode either. I felt like he didn't do anything. He just kind of ran around and was like, "Oh, I'll figure something out."
I played the guitar. I saw Osgood's message, and it's like you're standing there while they're encountering the Zygons. All right, they captured this other Zygon. It's like I really feel that he didn't have a presence in this episode either, and it's not Capaldi's fault.
I did love the dialogue between he and Osgood when she asked him about wearing the question marks and why did he give it up, and he's like, I have wearing that whole dialogue.
I was joking in the last cast. I says now she's going to go get question mark underwear, basically, because he had it. That stuff is cool, but I'm just saying when it came to the actual threat of the Zygons and him handling it, they're making him. I don't like his portrayal. And Clara, of course, she was a Zygon, so it's like, all right, I'll pass.
Maybe they were trying to make the Zygons seem like more of a threat by having them eliminate UNIT.
Well, obviously, they're the biggest threat now. They're bigger than the Daleks and the Cybermen.
Well, I mean, biggest threat on Earth, at least, at this current time.
Right now, the Zygons are the public enemy number one now, I guess. So, if that's the plan, I guess. But then again, we have the great Maisie Williams episodes, which I freaking love that dialogue. I love that stuff. And it's like, I don't know.
So Zygon Inversion is next?
It's Incursion, right?
Incursion or Inversion?
It's Inversion, yeah.
Oh, it's Inversion?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Inversion, okay. I'm looking forward to it because I expect it to be better than this episode.
Well, didn't they talk about the whole thing with the box? The box that the Doctor gave them to utilize?
The Osgood box.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big resolving point in the next episode.
Yeah, they're going to use that, and it's going to reset time where it reestablishes UNIT or some stuff like that's going to occur.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. Now, how old is this box?
It is there.
Now, wasn't Osgood's dad in UNIT when John Pertwee was a Doctor?
Well, there was a soldier called Osgood, but, it could be anyone.
We don't know, right. Well, then again, he also interacted with Professor Tyler, so that's not to say that that's Rose's grandfather or anything either. I'm just the same last name. But.
Well, Osgood is not a too typical name.
Well, that's true. That is true. All right. So now what she was wearing, basically, the Fifth Doctor stuff?
7th.
Well, the 7th, and wasn't it something from the 5th?
That's how I interpreted that. Just with the gray, I mean not the gray, but the tan sweater instead of the cricket outfit with the question mark. But I did see her with the
I saw the
sweater
7th.
vest.
Yeah.
I saw the 7th with the sweater vest also.
And the unit house had William Hartnell, the first Doctor, picture there, which they didn't even encounter him.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. Well, actually, they technically encountered him 5 Doctors, like as Brigadier.
It was just like an Easter egg, I think. Just, hey, did you catch that? Like,
yeah. And what? Okay, so what? I don't want to be a negative person on here, but what about the dialogue, Connor, of Jax with Clara about towards the effect of, you know, your time ending type of thing. Things come to an end.
I didn't really think much of that. I like Jack's character. Obviously, don't know if she's dead or alive. I assume she's dead now, but you know, she was a good character. Clara, the Doctor, didn't really have much, but I think it's going to be like The Witch's Familiar, where the Doctor already knows what's going to happen, so he planned ahead.
Okay.
That's what I think's inside the Osgood box.
Okay.
They say it's the thing that could start the war and wipe out the human race. But he's probably told Osgood that to trick the Zygon into thinking that, so when they unleash the weapon or whatever, it'll wipe them out instead. It's all the Doctor knows what's going to happen. You know, I thought it was moving away from just like specific dialogue. I thought it was a really good episode. It had some good, pretty psychologically gripping scenes, like with the when they're imitating the family of the soldiers.
Yeah, that was deep.
Yeah, and,
I like that. I like that, but
well, and then they obviously had it was quite a subtle kind of dark element that no one probably would have picked up on, but they effectively disposed of the dead by putting them in bins. When they turned into hairballs, they put them in bins. I mean, that's like a psychopathic murderer.
Now, the hairballs are not necessarily Zygons, right? They're humans, right?
Well, they looked like Zygons. They had like, you could see like red stuff with suckers within the hairball, so I assume it might be Zygons. But yeah, I thought disposing of them in the bin was quite a dark message, because it, you know, it's like chopping up a body, mutilating the body, and then just chucking it any old random place.
If they would have shot the families, that would have been over. People would have flipped out that they shot their own families. Like, I'm sure like people would have rebelled.
Well, they already went a step too far with executing the kids on that video. I mean, I don't think anyone even noticed that. I mean, yes, so they turned into Zygons, but they were kids before, so you're technically saying that 2 Zygons have just executed kids on camera and sent it to UNIT.
Right.
So it's all very current, and with ISIS and the immigration issue, and just it being a faction of Zygons that are rebelling and stuff. It's you know,
it's pretty deep.
There's a lot of hidden dark elements in here that you need to really understand.
Now, what's the connection with ISIS?
The faction is just a small faction of Zygons that, and obviously Kate was generalizing and saying that it was all of them, and that's why the Doctor stepped in and said, well, if you bomb them all, then you're going to radicalize them all. They're all going to turn against you because you're killing innocents.
Right.
I mean, to understand the dark elements of the episode, you've really got to understand how the current world is working.
Right.
With this terrorist threat, and
yeah, it is beyond belief ridiculous.
Yeah, the evil and the terrorism living amongst us. It's all very current, and I think it really resonates.
It's like one day somebody would give a command, and then like everybody that's like, let's just say living in America.
Well, yeah,
that's part of that group would start assassinating everybody in the streets.
I mean,
and meanwhile they're living amongst us, and it's like somebody says one thing, and then boom, that's the day everybody attacks. And it's like,
Well,
man,
they're called,
it was less.
They're called sleeper cells.
Sleeper cells, yeah.
It was less forced upon, but it was also hinting at the power struggle with the government. I mean, UNIT have so much power over whether they get bombed or not, whether they kill the whole entire Zygon race, and they never, bring in the society itself into it. So it's all hinting at the power struggle as well.
So could, like what Chris was saying, could Ministry of Defense, what is it, Minister of War, could that be an organization that tries to take over after UNIT that's just led by a villain?
People are looking far too much into this Minister of War thing. It probably has no bearing on this series.
Okay.
I think it's just yeah.
Throwaway line.
Yeah, people seem to think, because the Minister of War was mentioned, the mention of a Zygon two-parter, well, it seems to imply a war's going to happen. Links between the episodes usually aren't as intricate as that. So, I wouldn't look too much into that.
Mike D, what do you see? What do you think the Doctor's going to be doing in this episode, and what's the plan for the rest of the season? I mean,
you asked the wrong person. I have no idea. I've been keeping up with it. I haven't read anything really spoiling anything about it from now until the end. I know that the next episode's like part 2 of the Zygon. I know that there's a Doctor-centric episode after that, and then we've got a 2-parter.
Right. Then we got a River Song Christmas special.
Yeah. I mean, Chris might know more than I with that. I haven't really been keeping up with that.
But where would you want to end it off this season? Like how? On a high, a low, a death, a life? What?
Kill Clara.
You would kill Clara totally.
Yeah, just I got pissed off today when I thought she was going to die and she didn't.
I got pissed off that you told me she was dead. I'm like, oh God, I was like, so bad.
I got pissed off. I got bad information from someone that told me that. So, see, that's why you should always check. That's why you should check your sources.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And that reminds me, I need to give a shout out to a buddy that's a big Mike D fan named Skippy McGee. Skippy McGee. Speaking of people fact checking their sources, I've been in a dialogue with him. He's a big fan of Doctor Who and theological debate. So we're buddies on the comment section, but he's I invited him to come on and do a chat cast, a Who Fire, and I guess we'll see if he puts his money where his mouth is.
Okay. All right, more the merrier. But with the Doctor now, Clara dies, season ends. What would you do with River in the Christmas special? Is she supposed to just, like, would you have her be a companion? Would you have her just do what, Mike D? What would you have her do? Like, what's the goal you think that Moffat's trying to do with the Christmas special?
Well, I thought that Clara's going to die at some point between now and then. Was originally like the rumor, I guess, that we heard, but
right.
I'm assuming that that's still going to be the case, and I'm assuming that they have River there just as like a filler companion to kind of bring him back to focus and kind of get his head straight.
Right. Well, the only thing I know is, like we said on previous casts too, that and I kind of, you were telling me earlier about Moffat writing something now.
Oh yeah, Moffat said the Italian premiere of the series that he's working on Series 10, so it's looking like it's going to happen next year. Right,
Series 10 or whatever it is that's Doctor Who, that's specials, or he's doing some scripts.
Well,
something.
He's Series 10, so I assume that's a full series. They'd say specials, like the specials in 2009 weren't a series.
I know.
It was special, so it's.
I mean, look, as long as we get some type of announcement that's confirming, so people don't start getting like, panicky, because here's the thing. and we've talked about this for years. When Doctor, it's one thing for Doctor to be off the air for 10 months. That's hard on everybody. But if you do the split season thing again, they had to close down special effect factories. People had to work over a year and a half. These poor sites that do Doctor Who were starving to survive. Seriously, and but they're probably going to be losing some soon too, when I understand. So I can just imagine, like, the impact if Doctor Who's going to be off the air for a while. What the heck is it going to do to these Doctor Who news sites if there's no news?
Well, there's always news. I mean, you know.
Well, sometimes they generate news to make up news because there's nothing to talk about, based on a sentence or a phrase or it's the way somebody looked when they interviewed him. You know,
I've seen how like a large contingent of the Whovian community tend to get very aggressive and turn on their favorite show or aspects of it when they're deprived. There's like a thin line between love and hate, so to speak. I think that they would turn on the show if they went like for such a long hiatus. Not everyone, but I think that there would be a lot of people that, out of spite, they would just kind of be like hating on the show.
And that's the wrong direction, first of all, because the last thing we want is Doctor Who to be canceled in any way. I want it to be around for a long, long, long time.
Sorry, there may be a delay on my end. I apologize for that. I was just going to say, weren't the ratings like down the last several weeks?
I haven't talked about it at all, and I'm not going to talk about it. I want to see a little more evidence to show that it's really in any type of state of emergency. So I've heard that, but I haven't reported that.
Okay, well, I was going to say, well, we have a starting point where we could at least, like,
I think
whether or not that's valid or not.
I think the reason why I haven't reported is, like, I don't report missing episodes because we were let down so many different times with these missing episodes that, you know, unless I see an actual thing from them themselves about the missing episodes or the ratings, then I'll worry. But I think it's a lot of nonsense. I think Capaldi has done a great job.
I think I'm making a skeptic out of you yet.
I think Capaldi has done an excellent job. I don't see any reason to replace him. I just think that they need to, you know, I would like Moffat to give the writers more freedom to, like, I don't know how it goes on there. It's only what we hear. But I would like it where somebody could come to the table and say, Moffat, I want to do a Weeping Angel story. Moffat, the way I feel it is, it's like Moffat says, okay, you were writing about this, you were writing about that, do what you want. But in the context of that. So, hey, you handle a 2-part Zygon, you handle a Shrink episode, you handle this, you handle that. I want the freedom of, like, and I don't know how it is. I'm only assuming, but we've known in the past, like, Moffat has just done his own thing, and he doesn't have checks and balances. So I would want a writer to just have the cojones to say, hey, I really want to do this. And just have just go with it, you know, and if he fails, he fails, but at least he just went in his own way without the episode being affected in any way by, let's say, Moffat or whatever. I mean, maybe Moffat will throw a line in something to do with things, but I really want them to have freedom of just doing their own stuff, and I really want to see somebody else doing the Weeping Angel story other than Stephen Moffat. Like, I really feel let down that we didn't get a Neil Gaiman Weeping Angel story. That I think Moffat hinted at, you know? So I want to see the silence appear again, Madame Corverian. I want other people to explain what Moffat hasn't explained with his blessing. You know, I think we need to just take a risk and bring the Ronnie back, or, you know, bring the Meddling Monk or the Celestial Toymaker. I mean, don't, like, stop judging the fans, thinking, like, you're judging the fans that they don't know who the Ronnie is, but then you bring back the Great Intelligence and you put them in, like, a finale, and it's like you don't even build them up. So
yeah, but the Great Intelligence was utilized because I think that it provided the easiest foil for that storyline that he was trying to tell. Whereas, like, I don't think that people know who the Celestial Toymaker is, or the Meddling Monk. I mean, they could bring that back, but I mean, not for nostalgia purposes. Because
I would have had, with that season, I would have had the. There you go.
Now, there's a delay. Go ahead. Sorry.
I would have had the Great Intelligence have a little segment in every episode to show he's building, just like Missy did in a couple episodes. That's what they should have done with Great Intelligence. Instead, he was in Bells of St. John, and then blank, and then boom, the finale. It's like they should have had, him intervening here and there a little bit, even in the episode where they were in Victorian London, where the Doctor was like pink and everything. He should have been in that episode too. Like, just throw a little, like, what is it? What's the word? Is it epilogue or is it prologue?
Prologue's the beginning, epilogue's the ending.
Like an epilogue. Like at the end, it'll be like, just like Missy in the episode, was it The Forest of the Night? She's watching the whole thing and then all getting saved. She's like, I didn't expect that. I mean, she was thrown in the end of episodes. They should have did that with the Great Intelligence to build them up a little more, I felt. Especially the Whispermen, too. They could have did stuff with them, too. and somehow along the lines we lost that he's searching for Gallifrey again. Because obviously he's not. This season. Like, that's out the window, I guess. So possibly next season, right? I mean, what do you think, Connor? Is he going to search for Gallifrey next season?
I assume he finds it this season. That's what I've.
Oh, he finds it this season?
Yeah, I think so. I assume so.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Wouldn't you think that they would make a whole season about that? Finding Gallifrey, like make it think like a Key to Time type of thing, and just clues in every episode or something?
Well, I mean, one could approach that any number of ways, but I mean, that certainly is something that seems like it would be an ongoing story arc that would warrant a story arc as such throughout one continual season, rather than just kind of like tacking it on like a two-parter end of a season series,
What about you, Chris?
Well, that's what I'm afraid that they're going to do. I'm afraid that they're going to do exactly what Mike D just said, that they're going to be like, oh, by the way, here's Gallifrey. And it's oh, okay. I agree with you, Joe. I think that they should do a whole season where sometimes he's not necessarily, like, maybe the episode doesn't necessarily have something to do with Gallifrey's whereabouts, but, like, it's just an adventure that he goes on while looking for Gallifrey. Like he arrives there and he's like, why did the TARDIS bring me here? I'm looking for Gallifrey. And then maybe something happens in the episode where the audience finds out that it's related to Gallifrey, but the Doctor and his companion doesn't necessarily know. And then maybe they reference it later on. And he's like, oh, that's why the TARDIS took me here took me there because she knew I was looking for Gallifrey. And I want them to do a story. I want Capaldi to be the one who finds it. Yeah. Because I think that it would tie nicely back into him being in the 50th anniversary. I know it was only just one scene of his face, but I like to think that there was a reason he was there. Why was there a reason that all these doctors were there and it was just him? Why weren't any future doctors there, like 13, 14, 15? Why was it his Doctor that was there? And that's where the Doctor kind of stopped. I know production-wise they only had up to Capaldi, but I don't know. I want it to be Capaldi who finds it, and I would like for it to be a whole season. I think that would be really interesting and really compelling stories to tell, honestly.
We had the tease last series that there was going to be some big payoff for the fact that he recognized his appearance.
Right.
And it was like just a toss-away explanation. And I've really, if I had to be honest in this situation, I don't really think this series has lived up to what we really were expecting the grandeur of it would be.
I 100% agree.
I agree with you 100%.
100%, yeah. Because I know I've been watching it, and I was just like, I love the first 5 episodes of this season, and then there was a woman who died, and I was like, all right, maybe just one I didn't like. But this one tonight or last night, I was like, it was okay, but is it going to pay off?
I liked the series so far, or I have liked the series so far, and I liked the two-parter that started the series. I thought that really was up there with what we were discussing, on par with the level of things that we were discussing with what we expected, with really just really, really strong writing and really like that holy crap type grandeur we were expecting. But just like we were discussing with the toss away about his face, and it just was nowhere near the level of anything. Just like they were throwing us like some breadcrumbs, or tossing us a bone a while back to have something to talk about in the community. Like, oh wow, what do you think's going to happen? And blah 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 blah. And then we get the episode, and then it's like a dud. Not the episode, but the explanation. Just like, really, that was it?
I hate the explanation slightly.
I do think they're going to go back to that, though. I don't think that's the end of that explanation. I think at the end of this series, we're going to see something happen. It's going to relate to him making that choice to save Ashilda, and he's going to be like, I shouldn't have done it. And so I think I can't see them saying that's just it. He did it to remind himself to break the rules of time and save people. It just feels like, we don't know what to do, so we'll just make it that. To me right now, that's the way it feels like, the way they presented it.
I wouldn't have it that he chose the face at all. That they gave him this cycle of regenerations, but they chose that face for a reason. To remind him where Gallifrey is. I would not have it ever that he could choose his own face, ever. Because that was the whole point.
That would be the better, seemingly, of all the explanations, is to have him go with what he thinks is the reason why he has that face, which is the reason that was posited in the earlier episode, but actually that's not, in fact, the reason why. And like you said, it's something above him, the overall story arc, where the Time Lords gave him that. That would make more sense, because then you have a double explanation where it's kind of like they're throwing you off. It's a red herring on this hand, where on the other hand, they're really going to pay off the overall reason.
Right. I would flat out... Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I mean, this gets back to what we've talked about before with the whole thing about, like, the connection between the 10th Doctor and Capaldi's Doctor, the whole thing about they touched hands, when he opened the TARDIS door, it was that kind of that light and power that surrounded them. And then the whole thing about, the crack in the wall before Capaldi regenerated, where, like, the Time Lords sent him a new cycle of regenerations and all. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of things that are very intrinsically connected.
I would kind of twist it where he finds out the reason is that they gave him that face to show him just the opposite. Like, when you were the 10th Doctor, you could have been Time Lord victorious. You could get, like, an ego, you can get whatever, but there's that one moment where you did a good thing and you went to save people, like this guy. You figured out a way, or do something. They could, like, hint at, him becoming the Valiant, something that they chose the face or something. I would feel better if they chose the face and had a better explanation than a minute or a sentence explanation. That doesn't work for me. And
is it?
Yeah.
Is it possible, since Maisie Williams is? Well, actually, that history wouldn't be lineal in that fashion. I was going to say, could it be possible that Maisie Williams, since she's eternal, lived through what occurred, like, in Pompeii, and that now that she's eternal, there's some sort of connection there with her knowing where the Time Lords are and where Gallifrey is, or something to do. I mean, I don't know, just like kind of throwing stuff at the wall. To see
well, what would she be in Pompeii? A soothsayer or a?
Well, I mean, she gets around.
I don't know. Pompeii, I don't know. I would have her. See, I have a problem. Like, I like Maisie Williams, but I have a problem with them having two Captain Jacks now. And now they have this other guy is like a Captain Jack, and it's like before Captain Jack was unique. Now it's like he's got a whole family here. He's got Maisie Williams. He's got this guy. It's like, could we stop it already? And I don't know, dude. I just hope it is somebody that chose the face. But one of the things I'm really hoping for Series 10 is that the Doctor is with Romana. Like, I want Romana. I don't want a human companion. I want a Time Lord companion. I want Romana. Sort of like when we had Tom Baker and Leela Ward, you know, City of Death. Lala Ward, I apologize. Yeah, I like that dynamic. I like that chemistry. I like that. And if she could regenerate into a younger, you know, and then they're off looking for Gallifrey together, it will be reminiscent of the, you know, him and Romana 1 with the key to time. It will be reminiscent of him, you know, Romana 2 with different things. I would like that. Or maybe something happens where reminds him of E-Space. He goes to E-Space. He finds Romana. Because I don't know if that other stuff is canon, where she's Lord President and all that stuff with the audios. I'm thinking that she's still in E-Space. And then she knows what Gallifrey is. Like, in other words, E-Space could be a junction point that leads to all these different, like, dimensions that where Gallifrey is. You know, and it's like he decides for the season to go back to E-Space. You know, something happens, he goes back to E-Space, finds Romana, he finds K9, because there's another K9 version with her there. So
I think it would be nice to have a companion who was just, you know, someone normal for once. I mean, why does everybody have to be so freaking abnormally special? Like, why can't it just be like it used to be, where there was just, you know, it was just a conduit for the audience to kind of live through that character and understand what was going on from their point of view? Because that's the point of the companion. It's not just someone for the Doctor to travel around with. It's someone for the audience to live through and be like, okay, if I were in their situation, what would I do? And for the Doctor to explain everything, what's going on to them. It makes the Doctor look good, and it makes the companion look good. You can have the companion do, you know, important things, but why do they have to be some, like, conduit of, like, time energy that the Doctor found and it leads to, like, alternate universes? Why can't it just be, you know, normal everyday person who helps the Doctor in one situation? He's like, hey, you want to come see the rest of the universe and all of time and space like it used to be? That's just what I want. I don't want another Clara like companion who just makes it the Doctor chooses the TARDIS because of her and becomes a Time Lord because of her, and it's a little too much.
Yeah, I know what you're saying with Clara. She does everything. What if they chose his face for the most ridiculous reason, and that is to go find Donna Noble? Like, Donna Noble has a connection. She was an end of time. When Gallifrey came back, there's like that whole thing. What if she's the key to where Gallifrey is? She was with him in Pompeii. She's with him in End of Time. I mean, like, what if she's the reason, like he makes himself remember that when he saw that face, he was with Donna Noble. Like, something's with Donna Noble that, you know, and you find out possibly that Donna Noble, the reason why they kept interacting, and they said fate and destiny, is that she's possibly a Time Lord. That Willifred was a Gallifreyan soldier that just missed the war. And he took part of the Chameleon Arch to run away from the war. He had kids, skipped a generation, and Donna's technically the Time Lord dominant gene. That she has it within her already. That she's special. You know, and that would make perfect sense, that to seek out Donna Noble, seek out Willifred, you know, and that's what Gallifrey is. Because the only people that can help him find Gallifrey is fellow Time Lords, which Will, you know, and Donna. What do you think about that? I mean, why would the lady talk to him?
I'd honestly be shocked if we ever see Donna again. Honestly, I don't think we're ever gonna see her again in the.
But when would you have a Time Lord, a Time Lady, ever talk to a human other than the Doctor to help the Doctor? Because he's probably not human.
I don't know.
I mean, what do you think about that, Connor? Connor?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
About what? Sorry, I stepped away.
I said, what would you think about, I mean, like the fact that a Time Lady talked to Wilf, a human being? Wouldn't it be more conceivable that he's a Time Lord? That's why she talked to him? So when does Time Lords talk to humans?
Well, it's not totally beyond the possibility of anything that a human would talk to a Time Lord, you know.
I mean, I know Leela and the guy hooked up, and then they probably had, human Time Lord, whatever, hybrids. But
I mean, yeah, I think a hybrid will play a huge part into, everything, maybe even to come for the, the next few years, because it seems to be a huge reason in everything on Gallifrey at the moment with the Time War and stuff. So, but, I think race and stuff in Doctor Who is just, it's just there to pose a threat. I don't think like they're going to the scientific things like, they can't talk to this race and stuff. It's, if that makes sense, it's just not that big a factor, really.
Don't we already have a human Time Lord hybrid? I mean, didn't Leela stay behind in Gallifrey? She fell in love with that guy. That was a...
Well, that's not a hybrid because she's just on that planet. That's like saying...
But didn't she hook up with him? Did they get married? They have kids? I mean, wouldn't that be a hybrid?
That would then make her kids hybrid, not her.
Right. Right, exactly, though. And where are those kids?
Well, I mean,
we don't know what happened to Leela in the future, but if she had kids, then yeah, probably, her kids would be a hybrid. Like I said, she wouldn't be a hybrid.
They'd be Wong kids.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, isn't River a hybrid? I mean,
technically,
she's Christmas special, so I mean, she's have something to do with it.
Human Time Lord, yeah, exactly. She's a hybrid.
And why would they be bringing her back for the Christmas special if she didn't have something to do? I mean, the Christmas special can be a completely different story. So
River's song is the threat of the universe, and he has to stop her.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm just saying. I think it's kind of funny that they're talking about hybrids, and then we have River, and it's like she's in the Christmas special.
But she would be the threat, I guess, that Davros, because she's River and she's a hybrid. Technically, if she was crazy, if you had an army, well, maybe that's why they made River as a hybrid.
I mean, it's probably something completely new, like whatever they're going for with this hybrid thing.
I think you touched on. I think you touched on the freaking the nail on the head. I think River Song's the hybrid that they're building up on, and that something happens. Maybe she gets out of the library, maybe something, and he has to deal with her. You imagine if he had to deal with her a couple episodes as the villain? That would be pretty interesting. That would be pretty interesting.
They had that opportunity in the past, and they kind of botched it.
They blew it. Yeah, they blew it. But now if they do it right, and she's the threat, plus she's his wife, it's like, that's leading up to the hybrid thing or they maybe...
Well, there was already a touch to that with the Madame Kavarian stuff, where they were kind of manipulating her from childhood to kill the Doctor anyways.
Right. And what is Madame Kavarian? Like, Amy could see and remember other universes, so can Rory a little bit, and so can Madame Kavarian. Like,
well, you know what's one thing that hasn't been touched on is we have the first episode or the second episode, I can't remember which one, but it was the second one. We have the Doctor telling Davros that Gallifrey is out there somewhere, and Davros didn't know this, right?
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Here's the thing I'm getting at, though, right? We have Missy at the end of that episode going, I have a clever idea, while she's surrounded by Daleks, right? Is it too far out there to believe that this hybrid that they keep referring to, if there is going to be one, I'm just assuming here, is like Davros himself becomes part-time Lord and he goes looking for Gallifrey to complete whatever plot he's going to do? And that's where we lead into him going after Gallifrey and the Doctor kind of trying to find Gallifrey before he does or something?
Well, wouldn't he already be half-time Lord, being that the regeneration energy went into
Well, maybe, but remember, we have Missy at the end saying, I've just got a clever idea. Well, what idea is she... What could she be talking about? Just escaping? I mean, okay, maybe, but... I mean,
she would... Here's the thing. She wanted to help the Doctor against the Daleks and Davros.
Because she's afraid of them.
Right, but then why would you team up with them? If you just
Well, they were gonna die too. So at that point, maybe they're desperate and they're like, "Hey, I can get us out of here," and I have an idea. They're like, "Okay."
Sort of like her and Rassilon.
Because you can like theoretically you could reason with Davros. You can't reason with a Dalek, but you can reason with Davros because he's insane, but he's insane in a different way.
No, she's like, I could help you. And maybe but what if she sends them to Gallifrey and they destroy Gallifrey?
Well, I mean,
she's like, here you go, take care. Just don't.
What would be a better way for Davros, someone who hates the Doctor, than to find his home planet before him and like do something crazy on there, and then when the Doctor finds it, Davros shows up and he's like, "Ha! Welcome home."
They're all done. Yeah, I mean that's she could send them there because she hates everybody, maybe.
Because if Missy apparently knows where Gallifrey is, and I'm still convinced that she does know where it is.
Oh yeah.
Why not go there with Davros and the Daleks and be like, hey, you thought you escaped the Time War? Guess what? Now your Doctor's not here to save you, you know?
Right. She totally took out Rassilon. Well, I would think so.
Who knows? I mean, can't Rassilon come back after anything?
No. No rules, I guess, now.
Yeah.
Time War. I'm sure they could just constantly. I mean, that's why they kept his consciousness alive in the Five Doctors. You know, as soon as something happens, boom, here you go, regeneration energy, you're done. Let's go. Help out. Because he was never dead. His body was dead, but his consciousness was kept around, you know? So. I know it's a long cast, guys. I know everybody's starting to drop off.
No, we're here.
Right? All right. Connor, you all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just waiting for the everything show.
Oh, I don't know about tonight, dude. I'm like kind of done. Tired, man. 1:43 already. We could do it tomorrow, though. Want to do it tomorrow?
So we got Walking Dead to talk about, and Evil Dead, and all the dead stuff.
Well, you gotta watch it first. You didn't even see it.
What, Evil Dead?
Yeah.
Well, you could talk about it. That's what I was wanting to hear what you had to say about it.
I already did a cast on it, but I can talk about it. Yeah, I mean, I would want you to watch it though first. I don't want to ruin it for you.
All right.
I'm telling you, I like it a lot. So I think I'm pretty sure you'll like it too. Pretty sure.
Yeah, because I still need to get with you on what we were talking about on the phone about whether Glenn's actually dead or not.
He's not dead, but yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. Good night. We'll do cast tomorrow night. Take care. Bye for now.